it's several days later. Had to clean out the garage. Got the side markers done, look way better. Third brake light's done. And this one's done too. The plastic dip came right off. I mean, it was probably 10 years old. So if anybody has really old plastic dip they need to remove, brake cleaner will dissolve that stuff smooth off. So today we're going to be installing our Autometer oil pressure and water gauges, because the ones that are in there are Sunpros. They were like 20 bucks. I mean, they lasted a while, but they need replacing. And if you're going to replace something, or if you're going to have something to monitor your oil pressure and your coolant temperature, you can't really cheap out. So these were considerably more than 20 bucks, but it's an investment we have to make sure old girl stays running. And it's not going to be a lot of fun, because the coolant temperature, all right, so you have your crossover. There's a sensor right here. Let's see if I can get in there. Right there, that goes to your PCM, your computer. That's what actually turns on the fans. I think factory is 190 is when the low fan comes on. And then your other side is for your gauge. So if you want to run a manual gauge, you screw it in right there. The wire comes up and across. And down into that firewall hole, and that little clear tube you see right next to it is the oil pressure gauge, the manual one, which you'll come down here. Oh, there's your oil filter, and there's that little deal right there. That's where you plug in your manual pressure gauge to. So we're going to, pretty sure the car is locked. Yeah. So we're going to pull both of those, pull the gauges inside, and replace them with the Autometers. So I've never done this. Does not sound like it's going to be fun, but it shouldn't be too hard either, so we shall see. Well, everybody loves good unboxing. This is the oil pressure. There shouldn't be, like I showed you a few minutes ago, it should not be much in here. Hang on. So we have the gauge itself, the tubing, which I should just be able to reuse what's already on there. I don't think the tubing is any different. Something pressure tubing type blah 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 blah. I mean, we should be able to reuse the tubing already in there. A little safety seal. All right, got everything unboxed, and man, just feeling the gauge to fit and finish the materials on this, it feels so much better than that Sunpro. Like it feels. I know it's hard to get it over camera, but it feels solid. It feels really good. Got our attachments. Looks like these are the pieces that actually go to the oil sending unit and on the bottom. Like I said, I think we can just use whatever's already on there. Got our lights to go into the back of the gauge, red and green, or just regular. I'll probably just do regular, I don't know. And then a installation guide. So there's that one, and I'll get this one out for you. All right, similar story on the water gauge. It is way heavier, because all of this, turns out, according to the warning sticker, all this is copper tubing, which, I mean, I guess it makes sense. But there's a warning on there that says do not make severe bends. You could break the copper tubing, and that will affect the temperature reading, which I think is what happened, and why this sensor isn't working, because that looks like a pretty good bend right there. So this one, I don't think we're going to be able to reuse what's in there now, because it's a completely different system. It has a new, a really awesome color red. I guess this holds on the sensor into the crossover. We'll see. More lights and installation guide. So, got a buddy coming over, do a little beer drinking, little wrenching, so I probably won't be able to record much during that, but I'll keep you updated best I can. Alright, so super huge pain in the butt, but here's our old wiring for the sending unit. Pulled it out. I cannot, oh snap, I can't get that out right there until I have some Teflon tape to wrap around this part whenever it seals in. Actually, I'll show you. So this piece, we'll replace that one down there, and it will sit like this. It'll thread into the crossover, and then this, we'll do that, and that will thread into there. Well, alright, so like I said, you can't make any sharp bends, so I ran it down right here under this sway bar down here, and just mimicked where the old one was, except the old one came across the head, and that may have interfered with the readings because his head gets super hot, and I was running across there and it was all exposed copper. So this is going to come from here, run across and down, over, and in like that. And it's still taken apart, but I love the white phase gauges the way it looks. But so on this, on this one, gotta take this little hose right here and secure it to that little nut right here on the back. That'll solve that. We'll wire this where the old bulbs were. Just replace that, super easy. And then this one is done. There's nothing left to run except put these wires, because the only part left to hook in, you know, goes from the back of the sensor or the gauge down, and then it runs to the front where it screws into the crossover. So that's the coolant one's really easy. I just don't have the Teflon tape to do it. This one, on the other hand, is supposed to use, oh, where's it at? This right here. This fitting. The hose is the plastic piece I just showed you, the little clear right there. It's supposed to go in the back of here. There's a little compression fitting in there. It's supposed to squeeze it tight. And then this little piece goes on the back of there. But every time I try and tighten it down, the little plastic hose just pulls right out. I don't know. Honestly, I'm kind of over it for today. I'm getting annoyed. And I do this because I love it, so I don't want to get annoyed with it. But good news is, got the tips off, so you can see what it would look like without them. Terrible. Got the tips off, and I'm finally going to do it. We're going to ceramic coat the exhaust tips, and I already contacted Avalon King. Ceramic coating is good for the temperatures that are going to be on these exhaust tips. So I'm going to, pull out the directions and everything. We're going to get these prepped up. There's quite a process to do it and do it correctly, and especially as much as these tips cost, I want to do it correctly. So I'm gonna go in here, sit down, get everything set up, and get started.